Welcome to Real Talk, where the silence ends and the truth begins. I'm your host, Houston, and today we're talking about a topic that's going to bring awareness, but also expose men, because the truth of the matter is men can't be faithful, not unless. So today we want to dive straight into and let's talk about it. You're going to see me looking down a lot because I want to make sure we get this out. This is something that's needed, and I don't want to miss anything. The question is, can men be faithful? The answer is no, not unless. But before we talk about the not unless part, let me prove to you why they can't be faithful first. So the first thing we want to talk about, they're called soul ties. Soul ties happen when you're having sex outside of marriage, sleeping with multiple women. Now this starts early for some and earlier for some others. Society, the norm, those uncles, those dads, whoever has told us as young boys to go out and sleep with as many women as possible. Anything that moves, sleep with them. Put the notches on your belt, count them up. Record it, think about it, make sure that you have it. But the problem is, the more we keep sleeping with women outside of marriage, we begin to develop soul ties. Our brain develops data memory on the sizes that we select, the variety, her shape, her color, how she is in the bedroom, how freaky she is, how she's not freaky. All this data is being computed in our brain as men. So the same thing our uncles or whoever told us that bad advice to go sleep with as many women as possible until you find, so that way when you find the right one, all that stuff is out your system. It's the total opposite. It's the absolute total opposite. Because now you have so many different variety of data in your head that's stopping you from just thinking about that person that you want to be with. It's even portrayed on the movie Coming to America. Eddie Murphy, dad, tells him before he gets ready to get married to the queen to go to America and sow his royal oats. Go get it out his system. Bad advice again. Okay? So it starts with bad teaching. Men aren't taught how to be faithful. Men are taught to hunt. They're taught how to be disconnected and prey. Not P-R-A-Y, but P-R-E-Y on other women, on other girls. So we want to talk about how society has given us the wrong information, and the concept presents a problem. If we're out here sleeping with all these women and developing all these soul ties, these spiritual demons, these lust demons, these addictions, comparing one with the other, in our brain we have already a sense of what we want, when we want it, and we're not going to stop until we get that. So now we deal with all these things that prevents us from being faithful. So what makes us think that we're going to be faithful to one person after we've been with so many different variety of women? And this is what sort of Terrence Howard said on Best Man. They were playing cards. And they were talking about Terrence, oh, come on, L Boogie, you about to be with one woman the rest of your life. And Terrence Howard said something that maybe we have said before in the past. Man, ain't nothing better than pussy, he said, than new pussy. Man, how many of us have thought about that? If you thought about that, Send me a fire emoji in the comment to let me know this is how we used to think. Because this is what we were taught. But the problem is, when we sleep with so many women, and to be real, we've already messed up our relationship before we even start a relationship. So what are we doing? We're bringing old baggage, old spirits, old body counts into our new relationship. We've already lost. And don't say, it doesn't even have to be sleeping with so many women, because guys or females say, well, I'm not sleeping with guys, I'm going to watch porn. Porn is just as addictive, or even more so, because you have more accessibility. You can choose again your size, your color, everything that you want. All you got to do is say it or type it in, and it pops up. It becomes an addiction. It makes it very, very hard to be faithful to one person when you're used to sleeping around with so many different women. This is before you're married. This is why God ordained marriage. And he says if you can't contain yourself, it's better for you to marry than to burn in your lust. Because once you start sleeping with all these women, and I'm just talking about women, men today, but women do the same thing. But once you start sleeping with all these women, now you're dealing with all these soul ties and connections before you even start your relationship. It's already failed. So men always say, man, how can Jay-Z mess around on Beyonce? Or maybe it's Janet Jackson, or maybe it's Halle Berry, or maybe Tiana Taylor. What was going on in Shep's mind to make him mess around on Tiana Taylor? Dude, that's crazy, right? It has nothing to do with looks or love. Soul ties supersede both of those. Yes, we love you. Yes, you look good. But all the data over the years is what makes these men keep going out and cheat. No, they don't want to. They want the family. They want the good marriage, but they don't understand why they're cheating. They don't understand why it's a struggle. And it's a struggle. The struggle is real because soul ties are real. It's hard coming into a relationship when that person don't do the things that somebody else did in your other relationship. What's the first thing you're going to think about? You start comparing. Wonder, maybe I'll make that call. Who's the best at this, or who's the best at that? So that's why overseas and over in Europe, the fathers marry their daughters off from the beginning. So whoever they with from the beginning, they learn all that up. They have nothing else to compare it to. Oh, he's too small, or he doesn't do this the right way, or he doesn't go down here on the right way, or there's no comparison. But we've had too many comparisons today because we start off like, when I got to test it out first. Even before I get married, I need to test it out. What if I marry her and she's no good in the bedroom? What if I marry him and he's small, or he can't do this or do that? It's too many comparisons based on our past experience. All the data in men's head allows them not to be faithful unless, but we still haven't got to the unless part yet. So we have to understand that's why it's so important not to be sleeping around with so many people outside of marriage anyway. And I'm gonna tell you something, the people that has the most advantage of being faithful are those guys that the girls lamed or said they were nerds. They're lame. They're ugly. They didn't have the same experiences as the guys that maybe was popular in school or popular in sports. They had a lot of girls thought they were cute and it was easy to have sex with them. So now these other guys who didn't have that experience, by the time they find somebody that they really care about, all that affection, all that faithfulness is tied up into that one person. And women have said it before, I want somebody that's ugly. But you know why they said that? Because they know that they're going to appreciate them. They're not going to cheat on them because they're going to see what they have. But we all should see what we have, regardless if we're ugly or not. But the problem is we've exposed ourselves to all these damages in our heads with all the variety of the different girls that we've slept with, how they feel, what they look like, who's this and who's not that, who has the big breasts and who has... It's all an image in our minds. So I don't care if you're with someone or not, unless you have done the proper things to fix it, then you're going to cheat. And it's just not cheating physically. You're going to cheat mentally. You're going to cheat in your mind. You're going to cheat in your body. You're going to cheat with your eyes. The thing is trying to be faithful regardless of who's watching you or not. I'm just keeping it real. These are things that most people don't talk about, but there's problems. There's problems in our relationships, in our marriages, because no one is talking about this. Guys aren't cheating because they don't love their wives. I didn't cheat because I didn't love my wife. Because of the soul ties, because of the data. I'm no better than nobody else. Everybody, we just have to keep it real. We want to be married. We want to be happy. We want to have that family. But we're fighting against years and years of trauma, of addictions, that if you don't go and fix it, if you don't go and talk about it, it's going to remain a problem. So that's what we're dealing with. So when we think about it from that standpoint, it's always going to be a losing matter. Yes, ladies, it's not your fault. No, it's not your fault. It's not because you don't look good, like I've already said. It's not because we don't love you. Yes, it is because we didn't respect you enough to go get help beforehand, but it's not because of anything you've done. It's all on us. From how we were taught to go out and sleep with as many girls as possible. Go get it out your system. But I got news for you. It doesn't leave your system. It's just like a drug addict or alcoholic. They always say they're a recovering alcoholic. They're a recovering drug user. It's the same way with sex. You're recovering from that sex addiction. And unless you're putting things in place, it's always going to allow you to go back to it. Especially if you put yourself in that position. I've talked about it on the other episode. If you see and you know that you're weak in that area, don't keep putting yourself in that position. But we think we're stronger, or we just want it. And there's going to be plenty of women who allow you to get that easy fix. It's not going to make you feel better. Temporary pleasure over permanent damage. I talked about that on the episode before. So now, because we know that we're dealing with those soul ties, and they're real, man, they're real. To mess up on all these beautiful women, you know it don't have anything to do with how pretty you are or how much you love that other person. It all has to do with the damage, the data that we have in our heads. That's why it's so important. Women, please, please, don't approach men. Yes, they might be your type. Yes, but that doesn't mean you're theirs. And at the same time, if they didn't approach you, that means their data in their head didn't compute for you to fit that category. of that variety, of that color, that size, that shape, that height, that hair, that eyes, whatever it is that's in that man's head is what kept him from approaching you. So you take it upon yourself to approach him because you're independent. That's norm. The society says now is nothing wrong with the woman shooting her shot. No, it's not. But I'm gonna tell you what happens after she shoot her shot. If he didn't approach her, she's gonna be put in a category, but not the category she wants. It's gonna be the used category. Yes, he still will treat you out. Yes, he still maybe will buy you things and take you places. But he's just using you because you never fit that description to make him approach you. So now you're just a temporary toy being used, more soul ties for the guy, and more emotional damage for you. And if it's not causing emotional damage, then that's a whole nother problem by itself because women are way more emotional than guys. We've been taught to be disconnected. That's why women want to hug and cuddle and kiss and be up under you. Men don't care about that like that. Yes, they will do it because they care for you. They know how much it means to you. But it's not the same bail. That's not what does it for us. That's a whole nother story, a whole nother episode by itself. But if you start approaching men and they're not approaching you, you're going to be put in a category. It won't even be called friend zone. It could be called friends with benefits. But that's all is going to be the used category. And I know that you don't want to be in that category. So I wish someone had told me about this, like I'm telling you guys. So for those women that's having problems in their marriage, it's not really all the guy's fault to a certain extent. He's not doing it on purpose, intentionally, to hurt you, to embarrass you, to break up his family, because that's where it leads if it's not corrected. And we're about to get to that shortly. But he's not doing it intentionally. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. It means that he's dealing with a lot of demons, a lot of different lust spirits, a lot of different shapes. And they come in so many different varieties and colors that has happened long before he met you. So when you met him, instead of worried about what kind of car he drives, what kind of house he lives in, what kind of job he has, or where he can take you, you should have been sitting down asking him questions like how many women you've been with. Huh? How many women have you been with? What's your body count? Have you had counseling about it? How many babies do you have and by how many different women? Do you still interact with them? Do you still see them? Or is it just parenting? Did you seek counseling? Are you still in counseling for it? What are you doing? These are the questions that we should be asking. We're asking the total wrong question from a woman's standpoint because the man is already damaged coming into a relationship with a whole lot of old baggage trying to make his new relationship work. So unless he's gotten counseled, unless he has spiritual guidance, unless he is now trying to live a life of God that will keep him in a certain place of feeling bad when he does something, or conviction when he thinks about doing something, it's the only way. He's always recovering. Marriage is hard enough by itself, but when you add all the soul ties in with it, you have to be very intentional about what you see, who you're seeing, who you're around, who you're still talking to. Sometimes you just got to go through that phone and say delete, 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 delete. Because at the end of the day, those are going to be the same ones that destroy you. Because we're thinking with our little heads instead of our big heads. We're dealing with a lot of soul ties that we can't shake, no matter how beautiful, no matter how in love we are. People will say, well, if you were in love, if you love me, you wouldn't have done it. That's not true. People don't believe that, but it's not true. Unless you've experienced it, it's not true. You can love somebody so much and still be dealing with problems, with issues, addictions, but you're fighting from drugs, from alcohol, from sex, from stealing, from whatever that addiction is. No one is better than the next. It's a sickness. And if the wife is strong enough and there for you through the whole thing, that's the most beautiful thing, because she now knows what the problem is. But us as guys don't even know what the problem is. And so we keep saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix anything. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's called insanity. Sorry means going to get help. Sorry means going to counseling. Sorry means going to turn your life over to God and asking Him for help, spiritual guidance, getting around people that's talking about this, just like in the AAU, an Alcoholic Anonymous, not AAU, I'm thinking basketball. So Alcoholic Anonymous, whatever it is, you got to go get help because it's real. So the truth is, being faithful is not just about sex. It's about your thoughts. It's about your body. It's about your relationship with God and reverencing Him first, so you won't do it to your family, so you won't do it to your wife. So this is the only way that men can be faithful. It's if you're going to get counseling. So anybody who's been cheated on and they want that second chance, and if that wife says only if you go get counseling, only if you turn your life over to God, only if, I would jump at those only ifs, because you're dealing with a lot of stuff that you can't handle by yourself. It's impossible. Men have failed over and over again, and they're still falling over and over again. That's why divorce rates are so high. Not because they didn't intend to do well when they said I do. Not because they don't love that wife. Not because that wife isn't gorgeous, drop down, dead, fine. Because they're dealing with what they can't handle by themselves are all the soul ties. The soul ties. This is what keeps men from being faithful in the struggle that they fight with every day and don't understand why. It's because we were not taught to be faithful. We were taught to be hunters. We were taught to go out and chase and sleep with as many women as you possibly could. But by that time you find that one that you really want to be with, and she's crazy about you, and you're crazy about her, now you can't keep her. You can't be faithful to her. Not physically, not mentally, not emotionally, in so many different areas. And even when you try not to go out and be with another lady, you decide that, well, I'll just watch porn to curb that appetite. Wrong again. You're making it worse, because now you're still feeding your memory with data with different variety of something fictitious that's playing a part on a screen that's not really real. And you're longing for it, and everything you need is right in front of you, your wife. So all that energy, all those soul ties, you need to pray and ask God to redirect all those things that you've had for someone else. Go get help and put it towards the one who's in front of you, the one who's going to be with you, and the one who has forgiven you. Hey, I just wanted to come on real briefly and say I appreciate you watching this episode. If it has hit home in any kind of way, do me a favor. Take the time out right now and subscribe. We're not trying to build views. We're actually trying to build a community that's ready to hear the truth. I would love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments or email me at realtalklta@gmail.com. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this, please share it with them. We're here every Sunday at 7 p.m. with a new episode on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So do me a favor, tell somebody, tell everybody to meet me right here on Real Talk, and let's talk about it.